All right, let's get going. My favorite subject, commission and commitment handling objection scripts. A lot of you probably wonder why this is my favorite discussion. Well, if you've spent any time with me talking about business, I'm probably always looping back to this because I, like many of you, maybe not, I don't know. As I mentioned, as many of you know, selling real estate in a market where the average sales price is about 275,000, to achieve your life goals in real estate, there are things you need to change with your business. And while many people, may be comfortable with the commissions they're earning selling real estate, whether at a discount or at their full price that they've figured out, it is important to know that things change with the real estate market, right? If you've been in this business for a little bit, you understand the ebbs and flows of the industry. And there's anytime you start getting into, commission objection handling has less to do with scripts, more to do with your mindset and your connection with your business to your big why. So if you have not gone through the business planning process, if you have not done a vision statement for your business, for your life, for what you want to do with this vehicle that we call a real estate business, none of this really matters. So if you haven't done any of that, I can teach you all the scripts in the world, but I think the key important thing is really understanding, having a firm belief, a religious experience, knowing that God placed you on this earth as the best option for buyers and sellers to transact real estate with you, with your firm and with your brand. And you got to start first with that, right? So, if you don't have that, I could give you every script in the book and it's really not going to matter, right? Because it's a belief. And so mindset's critical. As I told you on the initial video, one of the things I was proud about is kind of squeezing a good living out of a real estate business in arguably one of the most austere markets in the United States. I had the pleasure of having Steve Murray come and he did the valuation on my business. And when Steve did the valuation on my business, he said, "Wes, I got to tell you, in 35 years of doing this, this is the most productive business I have ever seen." He said, "Not only have your agents generated great lives, great incomes for themselves, but you've done it with different agents." Okay. We averaged 3.6% on the list side for, he valued the business on the last 3 years of our business, but really that ran for about eight years. Okay. Cause something needed to change. When you're taking 2.5% commissions on a $275,000 sale and the deals are extremely excruciating, something had to give. So I knew that we needed to up our value. We already had the value. We just needed to deliver it to the consumer better. Okay. So it really came down to demonstrating our value, believing that we were the best option, arguably, no question, nothing compared to the consumer in our marketplace to achieve their goals and exceed those goals. Okay. So that belief needs to come, really needs to come first. And then it comes down to really analyzing your business and understanding just exactly how your real estate business works. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen here. Hopefully can everyone see that okay? Do I need to blow it up anymore? Can I get a thumbs up from anybody? Yeah, thumbs up. Thanks, Ginger. Doggone it. I got a book for you. You get a book. You get it, yeah, fresh from Amazon. I got a fanatical prospecting book, which is perfect for your time in the business, right? Yeah, it's perfect. You're gonna notice a lot of things you hear us saying come from that book. It's a great book. So you just won yourself a Jeb Blount fanatical prospecting book. Okay. All right, commission and commitment handling scripts compiled from years of pushing the status quo in the trenches of an austere real estate environment. True story. True story. 3.6% on the list side. And these are, guys, here's the deal. These were sellers that don't have money. Okay. Very important to understand that. Very important to understand. Now, I was like some of us where I would give commission concessions when helping a client, right? I want to help. I got into real estate to help people, right? I mean, I got into this business because I wanted to be able to create a business that I could give back. I want to be able to help. What I found was every time I gave a commission concession, I was really eating at my soul a little bit, right? Because I knew I was better. Why was I charging what everyone else was when I knew I was so much better and I gave so much more to my clients, right? Right. I mean, we were making the impossible happen. We were selling properties that couldn't be sold. We were finding buyers that couldn't be found. We were putting the deals together that nobody, unquestionably, nobody could have put together. Only us. And I knew that. So why would I charge the same as everybody else? Right? If I know a specific car is like really, is so much better than this other car I'm looking at. I mean, do I pay a little bit more for that quality? Do I pay a little bit more for that safety, security? Yeah, you do. Consumers know that. Consumers know that they get what they pay for. Okay, so understand that first. Consumers know that they get what they pay for. Okay, it's our job to explain really well what it is they get by working with us. So I believe this. There is no greater key performance indicator to the quality of product or service you provide than what the consumer is willing to pay for it. Okay. That can come from the brand. Okay. A lot of you came here because you're leveraging the Sotheby's International Realty brand. Good move. Okay. You're in the right place. Not only does Sotheby's International Realty elevate you from a real estate branding perspective, but just a luxury brand in general. Okay. If you haven't taken a read through or looked at the what am I thinking? The new affluent, the evolving new affluent, the affluent, what's it called, Adam? The new affluent playbook?
It's the new affluent, which was a project that Boston Consulting did with the brand a few years ago.
Yeah, so get down about midway through that publication. I want you to get in there and I want you to see how this brand scored on the luxury scale against not other real estate brands, other luxury brands. Okay, I want you to get in there and read that. It's about midway through the publication. If you haven't seen the video, you will see the video. If you're going to Ninja installation, they're gonna play that video for you, so you can watch the video where Boston Consulting brings in a group of random strangers off the street, sits them down, and they start thumbing through some Sotheby's International Realty marketing pieces, and they start asking them, "How does this make you feel?" It gives you that tangible emotional response that Jeff Hill talked about when he was here talking about the brand several months ago. Tangible emotional response. So you got that in your arsenal. Okay, you got that coming in the front door. That's important. Okay, so you're already with the most recognized luxury brand in real estate and one of the best luxury brands on the face of the earth. So so know that you've got that wind at your sails. Okay, one of the things that Larry Kindle laid out in the Ninja installation program, and I thought this was really good. Okay, so we put this in here. So your pre-game ritual, okay, and listen, if you're following the seller checklist, the two-step seller checklist that we have in the drive folder. So if you come into Scenic Search Share, go to sales productivity, go to Ninja documents, and go to listing side, we've got the step 1, step 2 listing consultation worksheets. Okay. And what I prefer you to do is, if you haven't been trained on this, we do have training on this process, but what the reason why you follow this process is this is going to help you with your pregame ritual. Okay. Cause it's asking questions. You want intel. I want to know everything about this consumer. Okay. I need to know my seller. What are their motivations? Okay. Why are they selling? If they're just saying, if they're merely just saying, I want to dip my toe in the market and see how, prices are high, that could be a motivation. There's probably something deeper, go a couple more questions deep. Okay. So if you're to sell this home at the price and deadline you want, what are you going to do with those funds? Get deeper, get a couple questions deeper. Well, I guess I would take the funds and we'd we'd go buy that farm up in North Carolina that my wife and I have been talking about. That's the why. It's not that they want to test the market. They want to buy that farm up in North Carolina. See what I did? Go several questions deep. Get deeper with the client. Get deeper in the why of why they're selling. There's always something more. There's always something deeper. Ask them, what would you do with your net proceeds from this sale? Okay. And that's what I'm going to hang my hat on. I need to know that. Likes, dislikes, that comes from the questioning, right? How do they prefer, and this is where, I always say, like, when you deliver a listing presentation, you don't have a one size fits all listing presentation, right? There's a lot that goes into preparing for a great presentation. And I need to be speaking to the hot buttons that the seller has given me by asking these questions, in the listing consultation worksheet, right? And I'm going to develop my presentation around solving for the perceived problems that they think they have, solving for the fears, right? And then, so I'm solving for those fears, and then I'm delivering pleasure through my execution and the performance of my work. Okay, tactics. Everybody works different. Okay, people want, some people are like, just sell my house. I don't want to hear from you until I get a contract. Others are, I expect to be communicated with because I had a really bad communication experience with somebody else. Tailor the, I tell you all, like, once every 2 weeks, you should be doing a seller follow-up, whereby you tell them it's a 20-minute follow-up call. I'm going to talk to you about the marketing. I'm going to brief you on the marketing. I'm going to brief you on the market. And then we're going to talk about the results of any of our showings and any pending offers that we have. It's going to take about 20 minutes. It's going to be a Zoom meeting, and that's going to be scheduled, a recurring event every 2 weeks. And you're going to use the seller report that is in Scenic Connect as the base of that discussion. Okay. Number one, it's a time saver for me because I know I have to talk to these people 20 minutes. And this is where, as days on the market start creeping up, and you guys are already feeling it in the marketplace, right? Buyer activity is going down, pending sales are going down, inventory is going up, which means we're going to have longer days on the market time. You should be setting the expectation minimum 60 days on the market to set a reasonable expectation. If I sell it in 45 days, guess what? We just exceed the expectation. Okay. When those August numbers drop, I've already told you, I did a sneak peek on August numbers. August numbers, pendings are still trending down. Listings are trending up. We're over 860 homes on the market, areas 14 to 18. We're getting back to that 2020, 2019 market, guys. Okay. So our conversations need to be setting those expectations, and so that we can exceed those expectations. Okay. The idea that we're going to stick our house out there and all of a sudden the seller starts freaking out when we don't have an offer in 2 weeks. Those are that's last year's news. Okay. We're moving forward. Okay. So set reasonable expectations. And then also, what are those hot buttons? So know your seller, knowing a little bit about your peoples, knowing is better than knowing everything about your product. You follow? Little Peter Drucker there. What do you want to accomplish? So go in already kind of knowing, what do I want to accomplish here? Okay. And if I'm going to step 2, what I want to accomplish is I'm walking out of there excited about the prospect of helping somebody. Okay. I've laid out my plan. They've received my plan well. And I'm charging accordingly to where I'm excited about the next 60 days of my life being serving these people to make this happen. Okay. Know your strategy. Okay. This goes without saying. Rehearse your presentation before stepping in. Okay. Don't practice on the client. They'll see right through it. Okay. Rehearse. Role play with yourself in your car before going to meet them. This is why we say step 2, we really encourage you bringing the client into the office. So you bring them into a sanitized conference room. You're not on their turf, bring them on your turf. You'll feel more comfortable. If they throw you a zinger, like they ask about it, you got Cloud CMA up on the screen. If they throw you a zinger about a property maybe you didn't include in there, you can quickly zip over, find that property, include it in. You're not getting caught. Okay. You want those resources at your left mouse button, on a left mouse button click. That's important. Okay. So I highly recommend making sure that step 2 is in the office. If you can't get them in the office, that's a Zoom meeting. Okay. You got Flex pulled up, you got things pulled up so that if they throw you something, throw you a curveball, you're able to knock that ball out of the park. You've prepared for that. Know your drop back positions. Okay. So if I know my seller's motivations, I've interviewed them. I've done a tour of the home. I feel like I have a pretty good handle on the client. I need to know what my drop back positions are, meaning, did I pick up anything that came about in the conversation that would lead me to believe that they are A, interviewing someone else, B, not 100% committed to us, okay, or C, they're going to come after my fee, okay? Now, we'll talk about this later in the presentation, but don't let the DISC assessment fool you, okay? If they are a D or a C, they are questioning. If they are an I or an S, they are accepting. So if you got a DC, they're going to ask you questions. That's what DCs do. That doesn't mean that they're not happy with your fee. Does everyone understand that? Doesn't mean that they don't see value in what you're offering and the presentation goes well. They're asking because that's in their DNA. That's how they're wired. Okay. So you got to be comfortable with people asking you what your commission rate is. That's a, you know, be excited to share that, because guess what? I'm offering 11% service at 3%. Okay. So I feel really good about that, because, you know, tally it up and figure out what's your value. You know, if to list and sell your house using the marketing techniques that we have on the list side. Now I break up these commissions, okay, because there really is there's two different sides of the commission. So on the list side, I want you to focus on the list side and all the work that you do. I mean, I think we all know that a lot of times it takes more work, especially in a seller's market, or rather as it changes to a buyer's market, okay, which we're getting into now, where buyers have more options, they have choices, they're not being hamstrung to pay whatever the seller's asking just to get a piece of product because there's no product. All right, law of supply and demand. So as we transition to a buyer's market, is it a lot more work on the listing side? Right? You're setting up showings, you're getting showing feedback, you're delivering offers, you're countering offers, you're getting all the marketing activities launched and gone, you're spending money on marketing, right? That's why we got away from the 50-50 agreements, because it's not always a 50-50 arrangement. You know, we give you the option to be able to dictate what that co-op commission is. Okay. We give you the option because we understand that it's circumstantial and it's not always a 50-50 split in effort and expertise. Okay. How many times have you basically had to just take over, you know, communicating the buyer for the buyer's agent because they're offering negative value? Yeah. Shelby laughs. Yeah, she knows. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. You should get paid for that. Okay. You should get, you should be paid accordingly to the value that you bring to the marketplace and to the deal. All right. So know your drop back positions. What's the, I can't do this. When does it become, so what's that line where you say, listen, I can't, this isn't a listing I can take on. This isn't a listing that I can, you know, take at these terms, you know, and that could be price, that could be seller demands, that could be the fee that I'm negotiating for my services. What are those things? What's that? What's, you know, where would I go to? And when do I say that's enough? Because sometimes, and listen, we all know, you hear this all the time in real estate, sometimes the best listing is the one you don't take. Okay. I want to be excited with every single listing I take. I want someone being all in on our strategy, all in on our brand and our firm's performance, and all in on me as an agent, as a global real estate advisor. Okay. Do they know about, you know, and one other thing here, sorry, not to back up, I forgot to make sure you know if you're competing. Ask them if they're interviewing other agents. Okay. Don't forget to do that in your line of questioning to answer those questions. Okay. Do they know the price of your service up front? Okay. I highly recommend, you know, anytime someone asks you on step one, that is not the time to be discussing the cost of your service, right? Because at that point in time, you have not delivered value. In the absence of value, people question price. If I haven't delivered my value and they're asking for my price, that's okay. They're probably a D or C. That's what they do. That's a great question, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. We'll go over that in our next meeting, which will be in our office, and we'll cover all of the options that you have that we have in selling your home. Okay. Deflect it for that second meeting. So it's on your turf. You always want to talk about the price of your service after you've delivered the value. Okay. If you find somebody, you know, I mean, you know, because at the end of the day, you have to earn the right to where they are looking at you as an asset. Okay. I have to earn respect, make them respect you first. They're going to like you later. Okay. I'm not there to be your best friend. I'm here to be a global real estate expert that is going to show you how I'm the best possible option for you to sell your property for the highest price in the shortest amount of time. Okay. Plain and simple. That's my goal. That's my strategy. Okay. I'll gain rapport with them through my line of questioning, and I'm going to find areas that we can meet there, and they're going to like me. But don't lead in with being likable, being interested in them, and ask them questions so I get this information. Okay, don't be interesting, be interested. Another thing you can do, you always have this, make sure you shift focus from cost to results, because at the time before they're able to get your value, what are they doing? They believe that you're a commodity. We're all the same, right? You guys have seen them. I mean, it's hard not to escape that global perception of the real estate industry, right? Because there's so many bad actors out there giving us a bad name. Okay, I got to drive by a 1% listing sign on my way home every day, and I'm just like, oh, geez, it's horrible, you know, turns my stomach. I don't like, and this is another thing with your mindset, right? You got to believe that we're doing something different and special here. We are changing the perception of our industry, one satisfied client at a time. You got to believe in it, you know. And I got, so this group right here, we are going to be putting some people out of the business. Okay. As we gain more market share, we are not competing against the top tiered agents and brokerages out there. We're culling the herd. We're culling the herd from the people that give us a bad name out there. And you should feel proud every single time we report numbers where we've gained market share, or we've grown as a company, because we know in our heart of hearts that we are providing a level of service that is changing the perception of our industry across the landscape of our market. You feel me? Does that strike a chord with anybody? Yeah. Yeah. Raise the roof, Corey. Yeah. So that's the belief you got to have. And when you get this belief, all of a sudden this commission discussion, you're going to notice it gets so much easier. Okay. Cost to results. We've got a lot of success propositions. What's the difference between a success proposition versus a value proposition? You hear value proposition all the time in sales, right? Value proposition is what? They're promises. This is all the things I'm going to do for you. This is all the things I'm going to do for you. Okay. Well, if those don't resonate with the consumer, they're valueless, right? They have no value because it doesn't resonate with the consumer. You know what consumers love? They love a track record of success. So one of the things that we do for you guys is we roll up the notables and quotables once a quarter. We update these and give you a slick. Okay. You've got those mic drop stats out there that you can leverage. Okay. We've got a proven marketing system here. It just flat out works. In fact, it works so well. This is how much more market share we have in Gulf Front homes. We had 65% market share in Gulf Front homes last 12 months. Hello. That's a mic drop stat. Okay. That didn't happen by accident. Okay. Show them the range of show them their odds, the range of pricing and odds of merely selling, right? That scattergram that we have in Cloud CMA, it's beautiful, right? This really helps with the pricing. You got to have the pricing right. Okay. Even I can throw the best marketing in the world at a property. If it's overpriced, it's a non-starter. Okay. So we have to get them realistic on price. That scattergram's really great. Visual pricing tool. It's what they call it in Ninja. Works really, really well. It's already embedded and adopted in your Cloud CMA. Okay, spend time on that chart. That chart tells, helps smart people. A picture speaks 1,000 words. Yeah, visual. That's why we go visual. Okay. Use that, show them the odds with you using that notables and quotables. Case studies are really great, right? How many times have you picked up a listing after some discount agent with no marketing takes a listing, doesn't sell it, and then you pick it up and then you sell it in 5 days? Okay. You need to have those testimonials. Okay. And if you don't have those testimonials, you hunt those sellers down and have them give you a testimonial. So it's their words, not yours. Okay. Get them to give you authorization to leverage that testimonial with, on future clients. Okay. Again, rapport builder, trust builder. Show them what to do to sell your home. This is the marketing presentation. Proven marketing plan that consistently delivers results that beat the market average. Okay. If you want to hire an average agent that charges an average fee that produces that puts out average marketing that produces average results. If you want average, you're not my client. You're just not. Okay. The fee. So when you start explaining your fee, this is something I want to make sure everyone understands why we break it down this way. Okay. The script is Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Our fee for these services is blank %. Now let's talk about what we're going to offer to a cooperating broker. This is deeper than just a script strategy. So the first strategy of doing this, number one, is your listing commission is set. That is not negotiable. I quickly move on to the co-op commission, which is what? That's negotiable. And that's part of the marketing strategy. Okay. There's times where I take a listing that's tough to sell that I may suggest, I cut my listing fee off, right? I say my fee to list and sell your property is 4%. Now let's talk about what we're going to hang out there for the co-op agent. 9 times out of 10, you're going to get this response. No one's ever explained that to me that way before. I know that, well, this is why we're different. Then you explain that co-op commission is used to what? Incentivize the 5,000 agents in our local market. Here, let's change this. It used to be 4,000 agents last time I went through this. 5,000 agents now in e-car. Woo. Okay. Is there a marketing component to that? Yep. Yep. There sure is, right? So explain this to them, how commissions work. Okay. You guys have heard me harp on this. The class action lawsuits, the antitrust violations are going on all over the country. And some of these cases, the DOJ is getting involved. The case up in Missouri, you've got brokers that I don't even know where they had a whole 2-week spiel on Inman about those cases where there's a good chance that's gonna come down to a judge ordering brokers to pay sellers back for commissions because agents didn't explain this. They didn't explain this well, and it all revolves around those class action lawsuits. All revolve around the seller going, "Hey, wait a minute! I was never told that they told me it was 6% to list my house. They didn't tell me 3% of that was going to the buyer agent. Why am I paying for buyer representation?" If you don't have the discussion, you have nothing to fall back on. If we change our culture and change our scripts, change the dialogue that we're having, and we're explaining that. See, if you went and questioned any of my sellers that I've ever served, 5,500 clients, you ask them how commissions work, they'll know because I educated them. They all know. Good, so you got to explain these things in depth. It shows depth of your ability to be able to grasp these concepts, right? It shows expertise, and that's what we want the client to walk away with. All right, some points to consider to prepare yourself. So it's all about the mindset, as I said. I want you to think about the ever-encroaching nature of the business. Okay, how many times have you missed a conversation or an event with your family due to this business? I'm ashamed to say way too much in my life. Hey kids, I know I was supposed to be there for dinner. I'm running late. I got to run over to this house and go do this. This client really needs me. I got to go do this. All those things. I take personal offense to it, right? It burns in me. Okay. There was a point in time in my business where I got to the point where I made $1 million and everyone's like, "Oh my God, you're number one. You're so awesome." And I go, "Dude, this sucks, man. I want to get out of real estate. This is horrible. Freaking close the doors, get the hell out. I'll go do something else, man. This isn't success to me." And what it was instead of being the thumb pointer and going like, "Oh, you sellers or you buyers blame it on someone else," I was a thumb pointer and said, "Listen, I got to draw the line, man. Line in the sand. I got my priorities: God, family, business. Business is third, dude. Okay. And there's one thing I think about every single time I go into a presentation, and that's my family. That's my family. I go back to my vision board and I think about, why am I in this business? This is just a vehicle. This business is just a vehicle. Okay. If my fee is 4% to list your house, that 4% is already allocated for. Okay. It's covering my kids' college fund, our retirement accounts, so Laura and I can live the life that we want to live. And it's also tithing to my church. And it's donating back in the local community to charities and that I believe in, that I'm passionate about. Okay. I have no problem charging what I charge because I believe in this, in my life strategy. I believe in the vision I have for that I'm going to use this vehicle to accomplish significant things in my life. Okay. See how that's just different? I'm not arguing percents. I'm like, it's a sunk cost for me. Okay. That's why business planning, and we talk about this at Blueprint, and we talk about really spending time on the career visioning that you have for yourself, your life visioning. It's so critically important when you engage in these discussions. Okay, you're gonna present these scripts with so much more depth and passion. Okay, know and believe in your value. Okay, If you're discounting your own value in the marketplace, get better. Get better until it's unquestionable. Okay. If you're not yet there, okay, to where you feel like, you know, the fee that you charge is a blessing to anybody that has the privilege of being able to work for you. And you guys might say, oh, that sounds conceited. No, it's just, listen, it's confidence in what I'm able to deliver. Okay. There is a difference, and you got to have that belief to be able to overcome some of these objections. And then hopefully for a lot of you, you start increasing your cost for service. Okay. Every single one of you, you know, stop saying that our fee is 6%. It's not. Okay. I challenge each and every one of you to start ratcheting up your fee for service, because you're providing such an amazing experience. Okay. And like I said, I only bring up the Fairbanks thing because I'm like, I can't think of a tougher market. Nobody has money. Okay. We were taking $695 up front, charging 4% to list the house. Okay. And my agents all bought into this. Okay. They made great incomes for their family. They were able to accomplish their life goals because they were able to leverage these things and get paid what they deserve. You're all worth it. Okay. You're all worth it. You work so dang hard. You've sacrificed so much. As I said, don't let the disc fool you. Okay. Just because they're asking doesn't mean they have a problem with their fee. They're just asking. It's okay. Really, yeah, I really appreciate the question. We'll go over that, you know, in our meeting in the office. We'll cover the marketing plan, and I'm really excited to share all that with you. Okay. Who here uses that now? Raise your hands. Y'all deflect that so that you can get the second meeting. Yeah, good. That's what you need to be doing. You are not equal to other agents, firms, or brands within the marketplace. Nothing compares. Okay, it's our brand motto right now. It's this year's, you know, marketing saying that you say nothing compares. So why would you get on the same level as a firm and an agent with lesser results, lesser marketing, lesser resources, lesser brand? It's not an apples to apples comparison. Okay, so when someone brings that up, again, you got to read between the lines. When someone brings that up, and they say, well, so-and-so will do it for X. I'm really glad you brought that up. I'll talk about the differences between so-and-so and what we're able to deliver. They're only asking that question. They're only making that statement because you haven't demonstrated it to them. You haven't differentiated yourself in your firm and your brand from that other agent, firm, and brand. That's the opportunity. So don't run from it. Don't take offense to it. It's not personal. They're just asking because you haven't educated them yet. Does that make sense? Okay. I have agents call me all the time with that one. They go, well, so-and-so will do it for 5%. I'm like, yeah, they probably should for what they offer. That's why I tell sellers that they probably should be charging less for sure. Yeah. Our baseline marketing is like better than their top line. It's not even close. There is no comparison. And I'm excited to go through everything that we can accomplish on Thursday's meeting. 4 o'clock still work for you? Great. I'll see you then. It's just fact. Okay. Stop shortchanging yourself. I used to go on listing presentations, and I would sit in the room and I'd be a fly on the wall, and I would listen to agents present their marketing proposals. 9 times out of 10, the agent is the one that's bringing up a commission reduction. Stop bringing it up. Okay. Again, just because they're asking doesn't mean they have a problem with it. They're just curious of what it is. Okay. There are multiple parts of the commission. Make sure you explain that. It demonstrates honesty and competency. Okay. So get good at this script up here. All right. That's the first one. If you deliver that script like this, I'm telling you, you're already going to cut out about 80% of any commission objections that you have in your business currently, just using that script. If Keenan and Kim Polikoff were on here, they came in and they were taking their biggest listing down on 30A. It was a Gulfront home, and they were prepping for it. And I said, we looked at it, and I said, well, you got to get the commission up. They've had 2 other agents list that house, and they were discounted commissions. I'm like, let's prepare for this, right? And they delivered this right here. And they took it at a 6%, got her up they listed with 2 other discount agents, 5%, and didn't happen. You know, I love being the second or third agent coming in because what you did before did not produce the result. Let me show you how we're different. Okay. Commission's part of that. Get what you pay for, right? Listing fees non-negotiable. We talk about that. Your marketing budget's already allocated in your offering. What is your fee for service? This is very important. Charge accordingly based on the product. What fee do you need to charge to be excited about the prospect of serving the client? Write this down. What's your fee schedule? Maybe it's based on price. Maybe it's based on location. Maybe it's based on the product. I'm not real excited about driving to Panama City Beach and going and listing a Calypso condo, but you know what? There's a fee at which I can charge where I'm okay with doing it. You follow? If they're going to say no to you, make them not like your price. You know, they walk away and they go like, yeah, I interviewed Wes, man, God, really great presentation, but yeah, they're just expensive. Yeah, it's Sotheby's, you know, and they're really great. I'm like, oh, that's okay. That's not a bad like thing to have someone spread in the marketplace. They know we're better. And when that place doesn't sell and they're not happy, guess who they call? Well, Wes, I guess I'm calling you. I went with the cheap guy and of course he didn't get it done. And now you're batting cleanup. Okay. That's okay. But write that down. Quick story. Some of you have heard this and I'm apologize if you have, but we used to get a lot of leads come in on our website. Okay. And my agents would constantly judge a book by its cover with leads. You know what I'm talking about? You look at that average search price, you know, and it would be someone that would come in and they'd inquire on our website and be like, hey, I got a remote cabin up the Chena, 40 miles up the Chena River. Can you guys list it for me? And agents go, ugh. I'm not going on 40 miles up the Chena River to go list some remote cabin that's probably worth $100,000, right? So I'd see those leads come in and you know what I'd do? I just charge accordingly. I'd call the seller, tell me about your cabin, send me some photos. Sometimes the cabin's really nice. Sometimes they were lodges. Okay, so I charge accordingly. Here's how this works, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. This is how I sell remote properties. It's 10%. Okay, you're going to send me the photos. I'm going to give you a sign, and I want you to go put the sign up on the river so anybody heading up the river will be able to see it. Okay, I don't attend those showings unless I can. Sometimes I take a vacation and go show it. You know, I jump in a float plane. We go fly up, call it a fun showing day or whatever. But many times I'm not available to show it. So you need to facilitate any showings. And I will market it. This is how I'm going to market the property. And this is how we're going to negotiate. And this is how we're going to sell it. And I would get these 10% commissions coming in. And it took me about an hour from my office. I never went to the property and we'd sell them all the time. I charged accordingly, commensurate to my value and the time invested. Okay. Does that make sense? So when you get that listing, or you get that lead, that listing lead or something somewhere and you're not super excited about it. Okay, well, at what fee would you be excited about it? And charge that, but figure that out. Okay. It's not, I always say this, it's not any one thing that sells your property, but rather a culmination of overwhelming value presented to all parties. That includes the agent. Okay. I love selling bonuses. Right? When you start getting into a buyer's market where you got all these buyers, you got so many buyers right now. I just got off the phone. We're negotiating this deal I'm helping an agent negotiate a deal. And they're like, hey, can you help call the listing agent? Or I call the agent that's representing the buyer and I go several layers deep. Come to find out what's their hot button? Interest rates. Great. Well, reverse offer here. If we give you if we sell the property for this price and we buy a 0.5%, interest rate reduction for them, is that acceptable? Yeah, I think that would work. Okay, great. That's our hot button. Interest rates are hot button. So eliminate the hot button and boom, there you go. Okay. So it's a culmination of multiple things. And sometimes, so when we put that listing out there, we want to make sure that the buyer's incentivized, the buyer's agent is incentivized. Okay. Josh and I went down to Port St. Joe. We're going to be talking about a project we just listed. It's about an $80 million condo project. Okay. They had a discount realtor that had no marketing and, no organization, didn't know how to handle that project. We just inked that project. Okay. Took it out of 6%. Did they push back on that? Yeah, they asked about it. So not only we're going to hang out 3% out there, but I want you to pay 1% up front. Okay. Once the EMD goes hard. We got to incentivize these agents. You've gotten crickets and you haven't sold this thing and it's been languishing for a year on your pre-sales. Why? Because you haven't paid the agents, and you need to put at least a minimum 3% commission. In fact, if sales stall out, I'm going to tell you that we need to be bonusing the agents even more than that. You either want to get it sold or you don't want to get it sold. Okay. Ultimately, they signed and they agreed to us. That's a big one. But they've already been down the road again. You're teed up for this when you got another discount agent with no resources, no branding, that's already gone before you. They've already seen how that plays out. Okay. House comparable, it's another thing to kind of explain. We're not all money grubbing. Buyer agents are not making decisions to sell your house because of the commission. Okay. But it doesn't hurt, right? If we got two houses that are offering the same features and benefits, and this one's paying 1% more, could that agent maybe push that house a little bit more? Just human nature. Okay. It's certainly something, we want to avoid having chinks in the armor of our offering. I'm not saying it's going to be the end all be all, or it's what's going to get your house sold, but it is a consideration. Okay. Does 3% look better than 2%? Yes. Okay. Well, don't we want to look better? Don't make it any more than what it needs to be. Okay. So if I've secured my commission at 3.25%, 3.5% on the list side, and now we've isolated this right here, what did I just do? Now I raise my rates. Now I'm at a 6.25% commission, or I'm a 6.5% commission. This is how you raise your fee for services, guys. Okay. We walked this up until in our marketplace, everyone just knew it's 4% plus $6.95 up front. But you know what? Madden's going to get it done. They will get it done. They'll do it better than anybody else. It's not even close. Okay. That's okay. It's a good reputation to have in the marketplace. I want us to have this reputation too. Okay. In a lot of areas we do. I want to make sure we hold firm on this because that's a good reputation to have. Don't you all agree? That way, when you go in, they're already expecting to pay a little bit more, which we'll get to that script too. Use dollar values when comparing co-op commissions rather than percentages. If a competing listing priced at 2 million is offering 1% more in commission, there's $20,000 more incentive to sell the competing listing. Okay, put that in layman's terms for them. There's a $20,000 benefit in selling your direct competitor's home over your home. That's half that agent's college tuition for their 20-year-old that's going to out of state college. Okay, it matters. Okay, put in terms like that. Okay, the other thing, like I said in the sales meeting, if you do need to listen, every once in a while everyone likes a discount. No one likes limited service. Am I right? You get that client that you have isolated everything. They're happy with everything. They literally will not get off the whole commission thing. This is where I want you to pull out the basis points. Okay, if you have to. Again, my other tip is start high. You can always go lower. My fee for the service is 3.25%. If so back to my ritual, if I know that they used to sell car, what was that example? They used to sell car, they used to sell, they were like a used car salesman or whatever, and they just always want to get a deal. Great. Just tell them that your fee for service is 3.25. And then you get into the co-op commission discussion. Now I'm figuring out what my drop back position is. We go, and he just needs a deal, You go, all right, I'll tell you what, here's what I'll do. 25 basis points, I'll take off the listing. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Let's ink it up. Great. Well, I just secured a 6% commission. You can always go lower. Lisa LaFleur. You still on? We did this training last time we talked about this. She went out and she had a, I don't want to steal your thunder, but tell us the story of the 4% listing.
Oh yeah. Well, after, my little pep talk with Wes, and he says, hey, here's the value. Here are the value points. I went out to take this listing and I just simply told them that the listing commission was 4%. And then we talked about what we could offer out in co-oping, and that my recommendation was 3%, and we took it at 7%. I would love to say that I do it every time, that I was, able to successfully get the 7%, but this was a lower price house. I knew it was going to be a lot for me to manage, and I just went for it. They signed on and we went right for, there was no questions asked. And then I listed another home in the same community and did the exact same thing again. So yeah, it was really great. And it really did help because whenever I knew I had to drive up there to go show it, I wasn't agitated.
Yeah.
Mm,
And
absolutely.
the client experience is so much better, right? Because you're happy with the arrangement. They're happy. They just want to, you know, they want you to perform, and you could do that with 100% of all your effort, knowing that you charged accordingly. So great job. Great job. And here's the deal. If that person was a used car salesman and wanted a deal, she could have come off her listing commission 25 basis points, right? And settled on a 6.75% listing and probably still been okay, right? She went into that meeting, and correct me if I'm wrong, you probably went in that meeting knowing your drop back position, right? But don't, guys, do me a favor. Do not reduce your fee by 1% increments. Please, please stop doing it. I don't know why you agents do this all the time. It drives me crazy. If there's one thing that drives me crazy, it's like, stop reducing your commission by 1% increments. That's dumb tax stuff. Don't do that ever. Give them a 10, you know, do the math before you go into the listing presentation. Know your drop back positions. You know, they're probably going to ask for a 1% reduction. Okay. So what if on a $2 million sale, that's $20,000. What if I offered them a $10,000 rebate on my listing commission? See, I just cut that down from a 1% ask down to a 0.5% ask, whatever, just roll through that. Okay. I'm not great at math. I got to like write it all down all the time before I go in, knowing my drop back positions before I enter into that step 2 meeting. Okay. I'm already prepared with where I can go before it starts being, before I hit that, before I hit my enough point where I go, you know, it's just not, yeah, this isn't going to work. Okay. And then I walk away and I go list another house, serve someone else. Okay. So some of the questions that we get, will you reduce your commission if you bring the buyer? Sometimes this is the one that when I say 9 times out of 10 agents bring this up, okay, they feel like this is like somehow, I don't know why you do it. I don't, it's hard for me to get in the mindset because I've gotten rid of that mindset a long time ago. Did I used to do it? Yes. I have since retrained myself. I never do this ever. Okay. Will you reduce the commission and bring it up? 9 times out of 10, the agent brings this up. When I listen to them, I'll tell you what, I'll do it for this, but I'll do it for this if I bring the buyer. Okay. Well, someone asked me that question. I go, I should probably get a bonus, right? And I don't say anything. I let them think on it. If I bring the buyer to your property, if I take one of my buyers that I'm working right now and I bring the buyer to your property, why is that so, you know, listen, I know we make this look easy. It's not. Okay. The whole reason why you're hiring me because it's a difference between passive and active marketing. Okay. The difference is we're actively marketing your property, connecting buyers to your property. And we do that at an entire company level, leveraging our coming soon program. Okay. You can delve into that. You can explain why we sell 33% of our listings in-house. The next closest competitor, 18%. We are not, nothing compares, guys. Okay. The average agent does what? Puts a sign up, puts it on the list. I love that. I'm going to list your house. You know, I market homes. I market and sell homes. I don't list houses. I don't list anything. Okay. Lame passive marketing agents list houses and hope and pray that someone comes and brings a buyer. That's not a success strategy. Okay. A success strategy, which you should get a bonus for, is when you actually match a buyer to that property, bring the buyer and facilitate a sale. That's how we beat the market average. Get credit for that. Don't give a discount. You're going the wrong way. We got to start eliminating those from our listing agreements. I see too many of those. I have no idea why you guys do that. Okay. Read through this. Okay. Anybody have any comments on that?
I would just say I agree because we're not, and look, I'm just as guilty, but we don't do a good enough job explaining to the seller that now we're really doing 2 jobs too. We're doing the buyer's agent and the listing agent, and we're going to do it better than anybody else for smoother transaction for them.
Yeah, is it easier or harder when you've got both the buy side and the list side? It's not always easier. Okay, right? You're in this like neutral state. In fact, the majority of E&O issues, the majority of litigation in the real estate sales business comes from being that neutral party, that transaction broker in the middle of neither party is getting representation. And one party feels like you're favoring the one party over the other. Okay. That's a dangerous place to be. You're taking on more liability. Okay. Therefore, you should get a bonus. It should cost more. The fact that you're not charging more is already a discount for that seller. Okay. That makes sense. Bring up the liability piece. And don't forget, if an agent from my company comes and brings the buyer, guess what? It's going to be a better transaction. Our agents are pros, man. We got the best agents in the marketplace. The agent on the buy side of your transaction will impact whether or not this transaction is smooth and professional or painful and unprofessional. That's a fact. That's a fact. We want someone that's really good on the other side to set expectations, to guide that buyer through and work collectively, work together to get your real estate transaction closed on time for what you deserve in the marketplace. Okay. Will you give me a discount? I can appreciate you asking. I need to call my, so this is the OSHIT script. If you don't know what to do and you get all flustered and you don't know what to do and you're like, I missed the training and I don't remember what to say here, just go, I need to call my broker. Call a timeout. That's the whole point. This is why we don't share in your commission reductions, because there's no reason to. Okay. It's for your own good. We believe that you should get paid what commensurate to your value. And yes, it's a true story. We believe your value is higher than some of you believe in your own value. Okay. That's why we love you. That's why you're here. Okay. But take that straight, call a timeout and just say, you know what? I appreciate you asking. We're not a discount brokerage. I love saying that. We're not a discount brokerage. Let me call my broker and see what I can do. And most of the time I'm going to ask you questions and may even get on the call and we'll have a conversation. I cannot tell you how many times I've saved 0.5% to 1% of commission from our agents just by the agent. When you do it, when you go timeout and we talk about it and we strategize a different solution, that's happy with all. That makes everybody amicable. Okay. So use me, please. I love these conversations so much. So listen, I'll defend you, this company and this brand with all my vigor, as you should too. Right. And sometimes it's good just to have someone else in your corner. That's okay. There's no shame in it. Just call timeout. Okay. Don't roll over. You're worth it. We talked about that one. This is always good to bring the conversation back to the real strategy. Like, what's more important, what I charge or how much I net you on the sale? Well, I don't know. Well, of course, I mean, the net on my sale, I mean, your commission's part of that. Well, I realize that, but if I were to show you that on average, I sell properties for more than the market average, would we have reason to do business together? Well, I mean, since you put it that way, okay, great. I'm happy to pull those stats, and I'd love to show you my list to sell price ratio versus anybody else that you're talking to. 9 times out of 10, they won't ask for it. They'll be like, okay, yeah, no, I get it. Right? They already know you're better. But that's a script, right? I handled it. Okay. Makes sense. In some instances, this is a script I would use. People, they would just, oh my gosh, they would just constantly just want a discount. Okay. So one way you can handle this, listen, I can appreciate you asking and I want to work with you. I'll tell you what, to be fair, I'll give you a $5,000 credit on my commission if I sell the price for asking price or less. Okay. That's if I don't perform, I'll put my money where my mouth is and I'll give you that discount. However, if I deliver to you net proceeds over your desired net, right? I've already done the net sheet. And I've showed them what they're walking away with. Let's say they're walking away with $1 million. Then I'd like a $5,000 bonus. It's fair and win-win. And smile. I go, yeah, I guess it is. Okay. Well, if I beat the market average, if I sell your property over what you've said is comfortable for you for a net proceeds to walk away, don't you think I deserve a bonus? You can make that percentage based too. Okay. Have fun with it, guys. Have fun with the conversation. Here's their takeaway. When you talk like this, when you have conversation like this, they go, this guy is a deal maker. This guy is going to negotiate on my behalf. Oh, dude. Yeah. They're going to lap it up. Don't be comfortable. And this is the role playing piece, right? So take this script library. I want you to role play with your fellow agents, right? Have fun with this. How creative can you be on these? I used to work with Caleb Spears on this all the time. He come to me with like these like challenges. We're like, all right, so here's the deal. Come in with this strategy. We'd strategize how to get in, go out and crush it. Okay. Have fun with these conversations. There's a number of different ways to skin a cat here. Okay. Okay. So we're up on our time. I want you guys to read through the rest of these. There's there really is a ton of dialogues in here that you can read through. Make it your own. Copy paste, make it sound like you. There's one in here that I want you to, this one right here, buyer comes to you and says, hey, I want to represent myself. Will you credit the buy side commission to me? Read through that one. Okay. We spent it. We had a whole nother training that really focused on this one. Okay. And it goes in a lot of depth right there. Okay. Anything else for the good of the group, guys, before we sign off? Was this helpful?
This is great. Thank you, Wes.
All right. You're worth it. All right.
Thank you.
You've got the backing of an amazing brand, an amazing team. Lean on those pillars of strength that you have behind your sales. That's why you're all here. Okay. And if you get in a situation, you want to strategize on a listing before you walk in there, please call me. We love it. Okay. Adam is so gracious with his time. He makes himself available to be able to help you demonstrate value. Okay. And when it comes to commission negotiations, there's nothing I like more. So hold the line, baby. All right, guys. All right. We'll see you.
Just say no.
Just say no.
It's amazing what happens with a quick. Do you offer a reduced commission?
When in
No, we
doubt, when in doubt, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we'll see you.
Thank you, Wes.
Thanks,
All right.
Wes.
Bye.
Bye.